we go. What's up? Whiskey Wednesday with Dave. Whoo-wee. Is this going to be a big one? Well, I mean, it's not really too much news. You're going to watch me and hear me crying and drinking, dealing with all the issues here. Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy Whiskey Wednesday. As you know, for those joining us repeatedly, you know that we tend to do this, try to do this about once a month, where I hop in and say hello, give you some updates on favorites and games. And of course, tonight we've got lots of updates on how Distilled's going. There's been some bumps in the road. We're going to try and continue to plow on and onward. I'll give you some of those updates tonight. Hi, David. How you doing? And as a reminder, you can see on the bottom of the screen there, if you're on Facebook, like for instance, the Facebook user that just said hello, I don't know who you are. It just says Facebook user. So be sure you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. And basically it's just telling StreamYard or Facebook that you're okay with StreamYard not being your friend, but just like acknowledging it. So then I can see your name and I can comment. But either way, you can also be anonymous. Slanjava, everybody. Cheers if you're out there in the Facebook or the YouTube land. Yes, we are on both. We are on streaming on Facebook right now, both on the Pavers and Games page as well as the Distilled group, and we're also streaming on YouTube as well. And my friend Charles Sirianni is calling me right now. I don't know. I'm just going to put you there. I'm not answering, buddy, but it's nice that you're calling me. He's out in Seattle. Anyway, let's get to this. Lots of stuff. I'm going to turn that banner off here. Obviously, if you have questions throughout this, feel free to post your questions for me in the comments. I'll be happy to answer those. But probably more important than anything else, tell me what you're drinking tonight. Tell me how you're doing. Put a post on there. That could be soda. That could be chocolate milk. That could be something in between. That could be a delicious whiskey or a nice cocktail or a nice glass of wine or just some water. But share with us what you're doing. I am having actually tonight, I usually have some sort of dram of whiskey, but I actually decided to try something different. It's not Uncle Nearest, although that's some awesome spirit. This is crazy. This is Trader Joe's Old Fashioned in a bottle. It's, I gotta say, it's pretty darn good. So Trader Joe's Old Fashioned, made with bourbon whiskey. Basically, it's pre-made. I mean, obviously, all that has in it then is probably some bitters and a little bit of sugar, but still, it's kind of fun. I can just pour it on ice, and it's really delicious. And it's a nice way to just have something quick and cheap and easy. So there you go, Trader Joe's Old Fashioned. Let's see. Hey, Mark Olivier, Benjamin, Bill, Sarah, David, all you people. Let's see what we got here. We've got, I'm going to see some people maybe next weekend. I'll talk about that. A little Chardonnay, aged Old Tom gin. Wow, nice, David. That sounds pretty interesting. So yeah, Sarah, having a little bit of old fashioned, a cheap old fashioned, but man, it's good. I think I got this for like $20. Is that right? That seems insane. Basically, it makes the equivalent to about 12 drinks. Here, I'm going to hold this up in case you can read it. But it's a little out of serve cold in the grass over ice and garnish with an orange. I didn't do that because this was quick. I just poured it. Makes about 12 drinks. Refrigerate after opening. I better I just opened it. So I'm actually pleasantly surprised. If you have a Trader Joe's and you like an old fashioned, you might want to think about that. Someone Facebook user, I don't know who you are because you got to go to StreamYard, but made myself a spicy jalapeno margarita with home infused jalapeno tequila. Whoa! St. Laurent rye whiskey. Nice, Mark. Some Australian whiskey. We're going to talk about Australia in a little bit here. And water. Yes, of course. Water is what I usually drink. So it's probably only so often that I have something like this. So thanks, everybody. Be sure to keep posting what you're having. Share it with everyone. Have a little comments back and forth as well. I see most of us on Facebook, but a few of you are tuning in from the tubes, from the UB tubies as well. So that's great. All right. So here we go. Whiskey Wednesday. What's up? So I told you what I'm drinking. You're telling what you're drinking too. We see someone else putting some Pinot Grigio in there too, which is great. So we got some wine. We got some water. We got some cranberry bourbon cocktail. Ben, that's interesting. I like that. and this is pretty darn good. This this is gonna be dangerous. I'm gonna pour some more of this in a bit. But let's get to the important stuff. So let's talk distilled updates. Good Lord. So if you haven't read my Kickstarter update this last month, then go do that, because I'm not going to talk about that for too long. I mean, I'll talk a little bit progress, but it's a depressing story, but it's also something that I hope that there's some hope and light at the end of the tunnel. So anyway, here we go. Here's the Cliff Notes version. Basically, my games, all of your games, if you're in North America and Canada, in North America, America and Canada, and Mexico, our Mexican citizens. There's a couple of those, and Puerto Ricans also. Anyway, it was sailing across Canada, hightailing it on the train. I was getting ready to meet with Fun Again to talk about the details, and they're in Indianapolis. So it was heading to Indianapolis train yard. And then 5 minutes before my meeting with Fun Again, no joke, to talk about details, I get an email that says, to not just me, but everyone who works with Fun Again, it's sad to report that Fun Again is closing its doors and in a couple months, and we are not doing fulfillments. Moving forward, anything in transition is open to being fulfilled, but everything else is going to be not fulfilled. You need to find your business elsewhere. We're sorry. Also, the hundreds of publishers, thousands of games in their warehouse that they've been sending out to retailers and others over years. So that's why I picked them, because I could continue to work with them that way. Also was closing down. It was also needed to be emptied. So major blow. Kind of that 11th hour thing you do not want to come across. But I'm going to say really quick that yes, I can say woe is me, but I still have a job, and I still have, and so I feel lucky and fortunate. Those individuals are needing to find other employment now, other careers. And so it's a number of people. My heart goes out to those folks, and I hope that they all land on their feet. I know some of them are already starting to look at other opportunities, and it's just they've got to, right? So the entire company is closing down. They have to figure out some sort of solution for themselves, and also props to them trying to figure out solutions for those that they're working with as well. So again, that was huge. So without going into detail about every single thing, this is what I decided to do after consulting with Richard, my developer, who's my kind of my counsel almost really is. I talk with him every day. After really thinking about this, talking with Emily, my wife as well, I realized that to have them fulfill the game, because they still could fulfill it. They said they would, because they would honor that. But to have them fulfill the game when they're trying to empty out their warehouse and people are probably quitting because they're finding other jobs, to fulfill 5,000 backers was the likelihood of that going well and at a relatively good pace was very low. So I decided to start calling around. I had almost gone with Quartermaster Logistics 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, and I decided to go with Fun Again for other reasons. So I called up Quartermaster and Matt at Quartermaster, and he welcomed me with open arms, and they've been really great in transition. So we are now, Papers and Games is now going to fulfill the United States, Puerto Rico, Mexico, outlying islands through QML. And what that means, though, is all the games were on their way to the Indie Rail Yard, which means they were on their way to Fun Again. I couldn't change that. What that means is every single one of those games right now is sitting in the Fun Again warehouse. As we speak, they're sitting there on pallets, waiting to be sent on trucks, costing me tens of thousands of dollars to do this, to ship it down to Florida, to QML, because QML's in Florida. Now, always throughout this, I see someone asking about Canada. Always throughout this, the plan was to go with pick and pack, but we needed to go through Fun Again. So it was that stuff is sitting at Fun Again too. And that stuff is also going to be shipped probably a truck, maybe probably a truckload is going to be shipped up to Canada to pick and pack as soon as possible. Probably a couple pallets are going to be shipped up to me in Wisconsin, and 4 entire semis, if not 5, are going to be caravanning down to Florida, where QML will accept those, inventory them, and then start sending them out. So it's going to be taking a little longer than original, but I do feel, you need to trust me on this, I feel that it is actually going to be quicker, safer, more efficient than if I had just said, let's just go through Fun Again and make this our last fulfillment, which is what I was thinking. So again, that's kind of the update there. Let me take a drink. So where are we then? Like I said, in fact, while I'm talking, I'm going to see if I can pull up pictures of this. I should have thought to have this up. So where are we now? Where we are. Oh, that was easier than I thought. Okay. Let's share some screenage. Okay. So I received these, I don't know, probably a week ago. These are pictures of the games being accepted into the Fun Again warehouse. Now, everything was floor loaded on containers, which means that as it sailed across the Pacific, up to Canada, and then trained down to Fun Again, they had loaded everything in a floor loading, which means they weren't on pallets. Everything was packed tightly into a container. You'll see that in my Kickstarter update. I'll talk about that. That saves a lot of money. It actually saved me an entire container. Containers usually cost around $7,000 to $10,000 a piece. That saved me $7,000 to $10,000 by packing it in. But as you can imagine, that means that then the labor has to work to unload it and put it on pallets, which is what Fun Again did over the last week. So they've done that. You can see here's pictures of the games as they unpack them. And you can start to see here all the games. It's 4 to a case of the main game. And you can see pallet after pallet of these, and it gets bigger. This is only one container, folks, of the 3. Okay, so this is just one container, and you can see it starting to fill their warehouse. But you can also see all the games on those shelves are not mine. Those games are things that they have to get out to other backers everywhere. So they've got these pallets. They've got these games on pallets, as you can see. Don't mind this one that's upside down. That worried me a little bit, but whatever, it's fine. You've got these games on the pallets. These are all the base games, filling up their warehouse. Okay, it seems like every corner is more of distilled. If I zoom in, you can see there. So this is the first edition. This is the distilled base game. That first pallet or that first container was only distilled base games. The second container was even more distilled base games and a bunch of African Middle East expansions. And then the final pallet final container arrived at the end of last week, and they've been inventorying that, and they've sent me that. So where we stand now is that every single game has been inventoried. We're shy a couple, and we got to figure that out, but that's fine. I have now sent them the total number. Oh, I should pull that up too. I'm sorry. I didn't even think about this stuff. That's kind of fun to show you. Let's pull this up. This is going to work, hopefully. All right. Yeah. Okay. So what I do then is I need to tell them, because I'm doing this myself now, I am working with the freight forwarding company. Fun Again can't anymore. So I'm taking a lot of this on myself. And I don't see any comments. Hopefully people are still there. I don't know. But I have to then list out how many Wisconsin, how many Canada. So we can see we've got about 500 base games going to Canada. We've got about just over 200 going to me. And then we've got 11,000 base games going to QML. Most of those, about 5,000 are Kickstarters. And then the rest, the other half roughly, are for the future. Okay. Oh, good. Still here watching, listening. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks, y'all. Guys and gals and everyone else. So what I've got then is a double check row. So again, we can see, I can see how many African, Middle East. I'll zoom in on this a little bit. I have to skew these all out so that they have ways to recognize what they are without knowing the name. I can say how many I've got, how many I'm doing local pickup. So I've got about 150 games of people that have signed up for local pickup from me. In all honesty, it's probably more like 75, because a lot of those are games by James, which is a local retailer chain in the area. They ordered a bunch and they chose to do local pickup for me, which was smart because they're saving a lot of money on cargo. You can also see I've got a lot of the languages coming to me, just a single copy. And the highlighted ones were not on the list. So I'm a little worried about that, but whatever, it's fine. So some copies of Chinese, copies of Czech, copies of Korean. None of those are going to QML. We have a lot of course, our French, our Quebecois people in France, or sorry, in France, in Canada, we have a good number of French backers, of course, going to Canada. So there's the French games. We don't have any other languages going to Canada. QML's got some Spanish coming there. They've also got a couple Ukrainian ones as well, but mostly mostly English. So again, this just shows the overall amounts, and this is what I tell Fun Again. What they're going to do now, I'll stop sharing my screen there, but what they're going to do now is they're going to take those amounts and they're going to say, okay, this many are going to Wisconsin, and they're going to set them aside. This many are going to Florida, going to set them aside. This many are going to Canada to pick and pack, set them aside. And then I work with an external company called Arc Global that essentially helps to move freight all around. And they then will organize or schedule trucks to come pick those up. And then those trucks will drop them off at those places. So we still got a couple weeks, folks. Best case scenario, those trucks could come as soon as this week to pick up at Fun Again. I'm hoping for that, but they're so swamped. I'm just a little worried about that. So far, we've had a couple people, props to Erica and James, really stepping forward and helping out, communicate stuff with me. We've got some others that I think must be swamped or something that it's really started to slow things down. And I really hope that they can step up and help us, because all of this is getting this stuff out of that warehouse. And as you can see from those pictures earlier, it just opens up room for them. So that's essentially it for that. So you can kind of just see what I was talking about there with the fulfillment. So a lot. Yes, this process does have the potential to be a board game. I don't know if it's a very good one, but it definitely does. Okay, so that's America. We've got some time still. That's Canada, basically North America and a little bit of Central America. But now let's talk a little bit about the UK and Australia. So Australia, as of maybe 3 or 4 days ago, they docked in Sydney. They unloaded. They're done. So Aetherworks now has that. But I don't know anything beyond that. I see someone asking, again, I'll put it up. If you're a Facebook user, if you want to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, you can then kind of let me see who's commenting. Without that, I actually can't see you. But I see some people asking about things like, let's see, watching from Australia. Have you had, if you have time, have you heard from Aetherworks and if they're on schedule? And again, I don't know, because this is weird. I work actually through VFI in Asia, and then they work through Aetherworks. So unfortunately, I don't know much about Aetherworks. I just know that people have been getting emails, and also that they probably have that in their possession at this point. Beyond that, I don't know, because the boat has unloaded and moved on. I've been tracking that boat. So I'm sorry, I don't have more about it than that. Let's talk about UK, though. Here's some fun news. Here, I'm going to share my screen again. Hey, UK people in Europe, I just did the ship tracking, and the ship is moving. The ship is, and I'm showing you where the ship is exactly right now. And I would say probably since I started the stream, it has moved this far. So I would say that by the morning, UK folks, when you wake up or when you see this, I'm guessing it's going to be docked. It'll still take a day or two to unload, and then they'll take a day or two to go. I don't know if they're going to take go by lorry or train up to Spiral Galaxy. So it's getting there. It's very close. I would say that probably within the day, you'll see it docked, and then by early next week, I would think that maybe you'll start getting something from Spiral. I've given them all their information they need, so they might start contacting you as well. So that's exciting too. And what's funny though is in the last couple in the last day, the German boat has moved on too. So the German boat's starting to slowly move. I'm fairly certain. Let's see here. If we do a route forecast. Okay, so they're going to go to Rotterdam first, and then they're going to go back out, and then they're going to go up to Hamburg, and I think it's Hamburg is where they're dropping it off. I'm pretty sure. So you've got some time yet. I actually think our German backers, if any of you are watching, it's probably not going to be until late February that it even docks, is my guess, in Hamburg or delivers. So you're probably looking at a late March delivery, is my guess. So again, but still some exciting stuff with both of those boats. And happening. I always like to do this too. Let's see all vessels. Let's see if it's going to let me go back. Oops, that's not what I wanted. One more thing here. Let's just do all vessels, and we could say, boom, the shipping lanes. So we've got ours is in, and the other one is heading that way. But there's lots and lots of boats in the world. It's unbelievable what goes on in this world. It's crazy. So anyway, so that's that. Okay. All right. So let's pop back to just me. Yeah, so no problem, Stu. Good to see you. Good to check in. And Alex and Benjamin, thanks for tuning in. So everybody here, feel free, if you're just tuning in, be sure to let us know what you're having tonight. If it's a soda, it's a water, it's a milk, it's a drink. I'm having an old fashioned in a bottle, cheap way, but it's something. So yeah, as you can see, it's kind of stressful around here, but at the same time, I'm hopeful. We just need to get it on trucks. We just need to get it on trucks, going to Canada, going to Florida, and going to Wisconsin, and I'm going to feel so much better, because then it really is kind of, then we'll know, right? Now I said that maybe the same thing as getting on boats or getting on trains. So hopefully nothing else, knock on wood, happens at the 11th or the 11th and a half hour, but we're getting close. So that's that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit quickly about local pickup. So I doubt many of you tuning in are local pickuppers. But if you were someone that checked local pickup, and no, I'm sorry, you can't go back and change it, go back in time and check it. I wish you could. But if you're someone that checked the local pickup option, that means that you're going to get to pick it up from me. What that's going to mean, I'm excited to say, is that I am going to try my best to do some sort of launch party or release party and invite all of you, not just local pickuppers, but anyone that is in the area that would like to come out. Obviously, if you're local pickupping, you're going to get your game. But if you're not, you can still come out and have a good time. I'm trying to investigate different options on how we're going to do that and where. It's going to probably be in Menominee, Wisconsin, so you can Google that and find out where that is. If you live in the cities or in the Eau Claire area, so on the western side of Wisconsin or the Twin Cities, then this is totally an option for you. I mean, it's option for anybody, but then it's probably about an hour's drive tops, and it'll be a fun time. So think about that. So that's going to be our local pickup option. We'll probably have something else to do, some other option too, because obviously not everyone's going to be able to make it that one night. But we've been working on some fun things. I ordered a Pavers and Games stamp because the reason for this is because I just thought it would be fun to hand you. I mean, it's something simple, but put your game in a nice brown bag to carry it away, because there's lots of other things. So I'm doing this also. I'm going to try and do this for cons, because I noticed last year when I went to cons and I would buy a game, I wouldn't get, unless it was a big company and they could afford to give you a nice reusable bag, which are expensive. I can't necessarily afford that, but I can't afford this. I mean, this is not too expensive. It's a little bit of human power, person power to do this, but it's a nice little touch to allow people to carry their games and their other goodies with them. So you'll be able to pick it up from me in one of those Paverson Games bags. I had my daughter helping me out, Eleanor, with this, and she was stamping away on those, earning a little bit of money, the first family employee for Paverson Games, which was fun. So when you come, and if you're local pickupping, you're going to get all your stuff. Eric is going to be there as well. We're going to make sure that it works for Eric and I to be there. Hopefully Seth and Cody and others local that worked on the game as well will come on out. So we'll see. Alex, great question. So Alex says, I'm curious where Paverson came from. Any special significance in the name? Yes, there is. This is always kind of a not embarrassing story, but kind of silly story. I've used Paverson all my life. So I've used Paverson for my handle, for email from the beginning, for my gamer tag, for basically anything, for usernames. And it all started with my mother, of all people, calling me Paverson as a nickname. She had a song about it. I'm not going to sing the song for you right now. Maybe I'll have her as a special guest sometimes sing it for you. But that's how it happened, is that I've always used Paverson. And when it came time to name my company, I just thought, it just makes sense. The funny thing is, to me at least, it sounds somewhat, I mean, not sophisticated, but I'd like to think it has a little bit of a sophistication to it. And so that elegance, but also that connection to my past and my history and who I am, I couldn't resist going with Paverson. Oh, okay. So Benjamin has a question about the Sphinx and the key logo. Okay, another good. Okay, I'm so glad you're all asking these questions. Anytime you want to ask questions, put them in there. I'll answer them. So this one is also you're going to start thinking I'm kind of like lame and lazy. I don't have really great stories behind this, but this this is another one that's kind of just a silly story. So basically, here's the deal. I had the Paverson Games name, and I said to Eric, I want to come up with a logo. I talked to him about that idea of sophistication, that connection to history. So I've made a game called Tombow. You can look it up online. Tombow game, I think tombowgame.com. I think it's a video game. I worked for 3+ years on it. Did it all myself. A little bit of coding help, a little bit of modeling help from some of my former students, actually. But I would say 90% of everything was me. So it was a labor of love, a lot of work. Really proud of it. It's on Steam. You can get it on Steam. Anyway, it's a historical game. I've always been fascinated by history. I was a double major in college, art and ancient history, in undergrad. So I've always loved history. Obviously, I love games, board games, video games, the idea of games. And so we were talking about ideas, and I was trying to, imply this stuff to Eric. And then Eric came up with, so I was giving him all this stuff. And then he came back to me with like some ideas, a mood board, that type of thing. And he showed me some ideas, and they were very sophisticated. They had some keys, and they had some other things that would imply like a puzzle or solving something in history, right? So books and that kind of thing. And then he threw up a picture that he drew on a whiteboard of my office 10 years ago, maybe. And this picture was a picture of a sphinx that then he erased the sphinx's head. Or maybe no, it was a drawing of me, and then he drew a sphinx body on it or something like that. Whatever it was basically a play on a sphinx and my head. And so he said, I think this actually works, not that, but this idea of a sphinx. So he explained to me, the symbol of a sphinx and how it's connected to multiple times in history, not just what we think about as Egyptian, but also connected to solving puzzles, solving riddles, as well as mythology. And it really struck a chord with me like, yes, this could work very well. I love this idea. So that's what you have, is not a griffin, but a sphinx, as well as the key kind of demonstrating that idea of a game or a puzzle and the solution to it. So that's what it is. Thanks for asking, Benjamin and Alex, for sure. So let's see. Oh, hey, Strudel and Z says that they got something in New Zealand, an email last week requesting last minute address changes submitted by February 4th. That was 4 days ago. What, Strudel, was it actually for? I guess it was for Distilled. And then let's see, weekly Facebook post has Distilled in their currently packing list. Oh, hey, you all might get it before all of us. I think you definitely will. Awesome. Well, hey, when you do, you better start putting pictures up. I've only seen a picture from a video from Korea, which is pretty cool. That was a social media content creator. I reposted it to my Instagram stories for Distilled. Anyway, that's awesome. Thanks, Strudel, for posting that, sharing that. So anyway, so launch party, we're going to do that. Everybody's going to be invited. And then anyone that has their game to pick up will get to pick it up too. On top of that, I do want to mention, and this is something that's kind of crazy, but it's because I'm a director for a school of art and design and an artist and designer in my as a professor, I should say. And so I remember I did this all, some of you might know, I did this all as a sabbatical project. And so oftentimes when someone does a sabbatical project, they have an exhibition. Well, guess what? Eric and I are going to have a Distilled exhibition at UW Stout. It is actually going to be at the Furlong Gallery. This is not obviously the imagery, but at Stout, we are going to fill an entire room with Distilled stuff. So my original prototype will be there, as well as the brand new one. I'm going to set up a booth just like you'd see at a con there. And it's going to be up for like a month. Eric actually, in addition to obviously all the amazing art he did for Distilled, he actually was working on a graphic novel as well and is finishing that up. So he's going to have blown up large versions of that on the wall too. It's going to be pretty cool. So we're really excited. And that's another thing that you're going to all be excited, invited to. It might be that we merge the two somehow. There might be a a release party right there. I'm not sure. We got to figure that out. But I did want to point that out to all of you that the Furlong Gallery in Menominee, Wisconsin at UW Stout, basically late February to mid-late March, we're going to have a show there all about distilled. So that'll be an exciting thing to see too. So that's that. Okay, so I'm going to keep moving. Looks like Christian Amy's asking where in New Zealand. Strudel, I'll be in Wanaka. That's right, Christian. We were talking about that, weren't we? Wanaka in March. So yeah, maybe that's the ticket, is have it shipped there, Christian. Maybe Strudel can reply, and maybe you two could meet up and play some distilled at a distillery down there. That'd be cool. Christian's gotten a chance to play test Luthier. That was really great to get his feedback and get him to play with us online. So that was neat. Okay, so that's that. We're going to have about 3 pallets showing up to my garage. I'm going to unload it. I'm going to pack every single one, every bag, along probably with help from my family. And then those will be given out to anyone that shows up for their local pickup that signed up. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. Let's move on to the website. So the website is an exciting thing. I've been working with at a firm, Studio MLM, right here in Menominee, Wisconsin, on this over the past couple months. And you are all going to be the first to see the brand new Pavers and Games website. This website is mainly to have an opportunity for people to obtain distilled merch, but also learn about new things. This is where I'll post updates from now on as well. So let's take a look. So again, really exciting stuff. Again, this is a preview, so this is not live. You cannot go to the site right now, I don't think. But you can get a glimpse of this, and soon it is going to be live. So you can see that, again, like I said, it's going to have a shop, but it's also going to have some pretty cool stuff as far as people being able to kind of take a look at different elements of the game. We'll dive into this in a second. I have commissioned Ryan from Knights Around the Table to do a brand new how to play with all the final product. So you're going to, and this is from the old one, actually. This is an old example, but the new one will be there soon. We're actually going to premiere that on Friday, so you'll be able to see that. So there'll be a how to play. And then further down, a little bit learning about Pavers and Games. News, of course. This is old news, this stuff, but it'll be popular with newer news as I go forward. Things about cons and other things. And then finally, also what Seth did, where Seth created the online generator, you'll be able to do that as well. So this, for instance, if I clicked on this, will take me to the generator that I've shown you before, where you can essentially create your own recipes, but then also tasting flights, but then also create your brand, your very own unique recipes as well. Upload images, name them funny things, print them out, and play with them in the game. So we just thought this would be a fun thing to do. So the shop itself will just feature essentially all the merch. So again, remember, these are things that you all are getting as part of the Kickstarter backers. Jamie asks, will we be able to purchase t-shirts online? Not sure about that yet, because I'm not sure if I'm going to continue to print t-shirts. I don't have many left. I will have them for sale at as many as I have left at cons, including the local pickup, Jamie. So I'm hoping to get to see you again at the local pickup, and I'll have shirts for sale there as well. So might not, unfortunately, yet at this, but what I will probably have that I will just talk about right now, since you're asking about something different, is we are making enamel pins for cons. We are going to make 3 different types, 3 different pins. One is just going to be the simple distilled D. They're going to be these are just the previews. One's going to be the distilled D. One's going to be just the simple Pavers and Games logo. And then one is going to be a Slangeva pin. So they're all going to be about 1 inch tall by varying sizes wide, mostly no more than 1 inch. And these are going to be available at cons, and we might put them on the site too. We'll see about that, but definitely at cons, as well as, I don't know if we'll have them in time for the local pickup, but hopefully. That's right, Facebook user, pins. So again, these will be enamel metal, and will be available hopefully soon, and especially at cons. So really excited about that. And we've got Strudel and Christian talking about New Zealand, which is awesome. I wish someday I can get out there for sure. So that's awesome. Keep on rocking, Strudel and Christian. So again, we're going to have pins as well. Now you're going to notice you all got the game for $55. Now it's $90. You got the expansion for free as part of it. It's 20. You can see the prices of these as well. And these are going to be, of course, while supplies last. If you add up your entire Kickstarter signature blend, which was $85, it now is over $150. So you got quite the deal there, which I am so happy for you all to get. But I'm finally having costs that are going to be reflective of it. Now, these all say coming soon, which is true. But then let's take a look and see what one of these looks like. So when you click on this, you're going to be able to have different shots to be able to view the game. A couple shots that are in action of people playing the game. Maybe some other ones that just show the game laid out to show all the components. And I think this is pretty fun. This is a pretty cool thing that they did as a shot, right, for the game as well. And then there's just some other things that we'll talk about. Some of this I'm seeing new for the first time too, that just show a little bit more about gameplay and how you would be making things from the game. So both mechanics, but also showing off some of the artwork as well. Some pull quotes. That whole how to play video, of course, will be here too. And then it ends with the recipe generator. So that's for distilled. And then you can see, let's see, I think I can see some of the others here. Maybe, no, I'll go up here. But then for some of the others, I'll go to something as simple as the coins. The coins are a little easier, right? There's just 2 images and that's it. But it tells you a little bit more about it. So again, obviously a big part of this is the shop, because I need to be able to make some money. I'm not sure how much money I'm going to be making right now based on all the problems we've had. And hopefully this will help out a little bit as well. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Eric, you need to go on. Eric, you're saying you're a Facebook user. Get on there. And you were probably the one that said pins. You got to say that you're Eric. Give it that thing. So here's what Eric says. A little more about the Sphinx logo. Yeah. Thank you, Eric. It must be him. So yeah, Eric is always so good with that stuff. He's so smart with thinking about ways that, in all honesty, I'll say it, look like, well, this is a lazy out. No, it's not actually. It's really ingenious how he realized that could pull that out. Oh, the students did it with the Sphinx body. And yeah, I used it on a profile. That's right. I did. See, I don't remember anything. So thanks, Eric. That's awesome. And then, yeah, someone else is asking, March still looking like the delivery date. Yeah, I'm pretty confident about that. I mean, heck, if we can get that out this week, there's a good chance that we could be seeing late February. So we'll see on that. Oh yeah, Chris, for sure. Pins need to be on the Luthier Kickstarter for sure. Don't worry. That'll be part of it as well. Oh, Steven. Oh, Steve did that. Oh, nice. All right. So anyway, you see that About Us is pretty simple. Right now, it's just me. I'm Paverson Games. But in all honesty, as we know, there's lots of people that contribute to this. So I've got to figure out how I want to best represent this, because each game has different people. So we got to figure out how that is. But there's definitely some common threads. Like Richard, for instance, is helping. Although none of them are official full-time employees, some of them, like Richard and Terrence, are helping out throughout. Seth pops in, Eric, and Cody as well with rules. So lots of different people helping out from game to game. So we'll see how that works. News, pretty straightforward. This will just be stuff I update just like a blog. And then resources is straightforward too. This is where people fill out things if they're missing parts. I'll eventually have logos and branding kits here for people, contact us form, that type of thing. So some FAQs as well. So that's basically it. The Paverson game site, it's simple right now. Obviously, it's got the one game, but as we expand with Luthier as well as the distilled cast strength, this will grow and grow. So that's cool. Ooh, Chris. Oh yeah, some Irish cream. Ooh, nice. That's good. Yeah, so you're having some good ones there, not just some Irish and then going down south. Thank you, Sarah, for the cheers on the site as well. All right. Okay, so that's that. Let's see. I want to get it down my list. Okay, so Luthier updates really quick. Not too many. I mean, amazing progress. Amazing progress, but nothing too big. The one thing I did want to show you, just because I just finished printing it out, is the new board. So I don't know if you remember earlier a month or so ago, maybe I talked about this, I'm not sure, but at one point I was really dead set on the idea of Luthier having polyominoes, different tiles that represent the different instruments that you're kind of building out an orchestra or putting these instruments together. I just wanted a way to be able to track but also a tactile way for players to be able to kind of have something in front of them as well. It got to be too much of a pain. Not only is that a lot of money to manufacture all the tiles that represent all the instruments, it's a pain for the artist to be able to try and illustrate within a certain tile shape. It slows the game down. So through a number of different proto-spiels and play tests, and thanks to the amazing feedback from some of our players, we realized what really could work well would be an orchestra pit that you're kind of contributing to, but you could just put maybe necessarily a cube. And actually, this goes to Kevin, if you're listening, Kevin, as the one that really kind of nailed this home for me. And so, Kevin, actually, I want to show it to you as well. So now this is the main board. It's big. Let's see if I can pull it out. There, you can kind of see the whole thing. Those all hold the different cards. So luthier has a lot of different spots. But the most important part is in the middle now, when you make an instrument, you're going to put a cube down to kind of put that place on the orchestra. So we're all, as luthiers and other instrument makers, building this orchestra for the different patrons. So I'm really excited about this. We are going to be playing this at Abe's house. Remember, Abe is the co-designer. He created the game, and then I and Richard kind of took the football and ran with it. He took it the first 50 yards. We're taking it the last 50 yards and working all together on that. And so we're play testing this at Abe's house Friday night in 2 days. And so I wanted to be sure to have the latest and greatest for him and his friends. That's going to be a lot of fun. So that's just a quick update there. Jamie, thanks for the great compliments. I can't wait for all of you to get it. And I can't wait to have those pictures start showing up with those special bottles everyone's going to open. I've got a couple too. I might have to open a different one every day as well. So thank you for all that great support. And I want to say that for everybody, all of you showing your support when I posted that in the Kickstarter update. It just makes this job so much easier. This really hard job right now so much easier, and makes me want to continue to do that. Eric. The reason, Eric, here I'm going to put it on there for you again. There, Eric, do that. Go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. And you're going to be able to, you have to basically give Facebook or StreamYard permission to talk to each other. It's not any information or anything like that. That's all it is. It's kind of stupid, but it's the only way we can do it. Yes, Bill, you are going to play that version. You're going to play the latest and greatest version. It's all still prototype stuff. But like here, I'll show you. All the cards are still prototype here. Here's the hurdy-gurdy. Right. So all the cards are still prototype 100%. Everything in the game is 100% prototype, but still very exciting that you all at Con of the North next weekend, not this weekend, but next, are going to get to play it. In fact, speaking of, here, let me show you that. We have been sold out for months, folks, at Con of the North. We have 6 games sessions going, and they've all been sold out for probably 3 months now. And again, this is just playing the prototype. So we're really excited. Bill, I'm sure you're one of those. It's either going to be me or Abe running the game. I know I've got some other people I know that are joining some of these games that I recognize from past distilled plays as well. So that's going to be really exciting to have you all and get together and see you all there. I'm going to be recording a how to play video via Tabletop Simulator and sharing it with all of you. It's not going to be posted, but it'll be for you all to see, because I want to hit the ground running. We only have 3 hours to play, and it's heavier than distilled. So I'm a little worried about actually getting the game done with a teach. So we'll see how that goes. So again, that's really exciting stuff with Luthier. So the last thing on my list, unless people have questions. I'm just going to post this because Christian's posted. Christian played, I think maybe a week or two ago on Tabletop Simulator with me. It was great. It was great feedback, great time with Christian. And yeah, it was so fun to have you play, Christian. I'm so glad that you're still thinking about it. It's that kind of game that gets in your head. That's why I reached out to Abe at the start of last year. Is this game stuck with me? It keeps me thinking, the theme, the mechanics, the strategy that I could take the next time. So I'm really excited for you all to try that out. Speaking of, at the cons, all the cons this year, we are going to be running Luthier plays the whole time. So if you are going to be at any of the cons, you're going to get a chance to try out Paverson Games' next game that we're bringing to Kickstarter early, again in prototype stage. But we're getting pretty darn close, I would say, to the mechanics being dialed in to the point where I doubt we're going to change a whole lot at this point. Tweak things here or there. Now it's time for the art and graphic design, which I am super excited to tell you we have signed artists and graphic designers for Luthier. I can't announce anything yet, but in the coming months, we'll be doing that. So exciting stuff there too. Con season. So this, as you can see, February 17th through 19th. Feel free to keep posting questions in the chat if you have them. Happy to answer any questions you might have. Oh, and Bill, yeah, Dave Swanson playing Luthier at noon on Friday, and you're at 6 p.m. on Saturday. I think I've got both of those, so I'm going to see both of you. I think I've got you two there, so that's good. And yeah, Allie, hopefully soon. I'm trying. Allie, I think, did you post on Discord? Are you going to play with Richard? Perhaps. I think it was you maybe that posted on Discord, which would be awesome if you wanted to play on TTS. We run on TTS. I'll pull up the link really quick. If you play Tabletop Simulator, and then I highly encourage you to enough that it doesn't stress you out, because I know it can for some reason for some people. But if you do, hopefully this comment will post. We'll see. I'm trying this now. I've never done this before. Hopefully you can see that. You can join our Discord. You can become a member of our Discord. We play test Distilled sometimes, still not as much, but we also play test Luthier probably about once a week. Anyway, cons. So February 17th through 19th in Minneapolis, Plymouth actually, but in Minneapolis will be Con of the North. All the games are sold out. The next con that we'll be at after that is the UK Games Expo. I am so excited to say that I am flying over to Birmingham, to the UK, to my good friend Richard and developer, and Paverson Games will have a booth at UK Games Expo. You can kind of see, I don't know if this will show a bigger picture. Not really. I won't go into it. But anyway, we're going to have a booth there. We're going to be playing Luthier. We're going to be playing Distilled. We're going to be selling Distilled merch. So if any of our UK fans out there that did not get a chance to get some of the Kickstarter goodies, those will be there too. So that is going to be in Birmingham, UK, Friday, June 2nd through Sunday, June 4th. So we'll be there. I am so excited to hopefully be able to meet some of you there. That is going to be so fun. I'll obviously be there the whole time. Rich will be there the whole time, as well as some friends I've gotten to know through Richard over the past year or two. Tim and Liz and Demo, and there's so many people I think that'll be there. So I'm really excited to be able to see that or meet them and kind of experience UK Games Expo. UK Distilled. Okay, here's something I need everyone to cross their fingers for. Distilled, we have submitted it for the UK Games Expo Awards, the UK Game Awards. So we're crossing our fingers. I don't think we have much of a chance, but we're gonna try. Gosh darn it, we're gonna try. So that'll be there too. So that's in early June. In late June, we'll be at Origins. Origins is in Columbus. And again, another great show, a nice medium level show. So if you're someone that just thinks the idea of a con is overwhelming, well, Con of the North is perfect for you because it is tiny. I mean, it's big for Minnesota, but it's tiny, and it's all about playing games. There's some good RPG events. There's a tiny little expo hall, and there's tons and tons of game playing. While Origins UK Games Expo is very big, obviously, over in the UK, the biggest in the UK. And then Origins is a nice medium-sized con. I think someone will probably be able to tell me in the chat if you know. Steven might know the number of attendees at Origins. I'm guessing it's somewhere around, it's probably usually somewhere around 10 to 15,000. Thanks, Allie, for that compliment on the website. 10 to 15,000. I think last year maybe it was around 8 or 9,000 is my guess. So didn't have as big a showing. But I'm really but that also I'm very certain. I very much believe that's because they were wishy-washy with the masks. First they said no masks, and then people got mad and then okay, masks. And so I think I'm all for masks, but I think the problem was that kind of turned some people away. But Origins, we will have a booth. We're going to have in all of these shows, or at the UK Origins and Gen Con, I'll talk about in a second. We're going to have a 10 by 20 booth, so a double wide booth, a bigger booth. So we can run Distilled demos, we can run Luthier plays, and we can of course sell some merch too, because these cons are very expensive. So thousands and thousands for the booth. And as well as thousands for the booth, thousands for the hotel. So at the end of the day, the hope is that you sell enough to be able to just break even. That's all I'm hoping to do. And that means I have to sell. If I wasn't selling and just had a booth, I'd be losing money left and right. So I kind of have to do that balance. Um, oh, thanks, William. Really? Origins was 12K. Okay, maybe they thought normally they'd be more like 18 to 20 and they were only 12. But I think Gen Con's like 30. I think it's like 60. I don't know. It's ridiculous. But anyway, we're going to be at Origins. And I'd love for you to come out to that and say hi. And then, of course, we're also going to be at Gen Con. Gen Con is in early August in Indianapolis. It is the largest, I think it still is, it's got to be the largest convention in America. I'd say maybe PAX U comes closest second, maybe, but maybe it's Origins actually. Essen obviously is still bigger, but this is a massive event. If you have not started booking hotels for this now, you should, if you can, because it is unbelievable. So we will have a booth there as well. Hopefully you'll be able to find us. It's so far. It's so big. We'll be kind of way back, but we are going to be in the entrepreneurs section. And again, we will have a 10 by 20 booth there on an end cap. So we're really excited about that. And yeah, thanks William for doing that research. So, I wasn't saying you were, I was saying 50K. You thought 50K. Oh no way. Not Origins. But yeah, Gen Con probably is. Gen Con's probably 50K, maybe 30 to 50. I don't know. Maybe look that up for me too, William. But again, so those are going to be our cons for the year. We're still not sure. People keep asking about PAX U. I'd love to. I'm not sure yet because the problem with it is that it's during school, the school year. And so it's very hard for me to take off work. So I don't know. We'll see if we're going to be able to make that happen or not. But I hope so. Oh my gosh. Wait a minute. Just a second. Sorry. Whoa. Hey, remember when I was like, hey, by tomorrow night, it's already there. It is just about docked. The one in the UK. So I'm sure it's got a little bit more ways to go. Because it doesn't look like it's actually docked yet, but I bet it's close. Let's see if I can I can't do a street view from this. But anyway, I'm guessing the Al Zubara is just about docked or getting very close. So that's pretty exciting. It's just in the time we were talking. Okay, cool. Just wanted to show that. All right. So yeah, so I'm just keep posting your stuff. Thanks, Allie. I almost ordered the magnet option actually. But I thought, man, I'm just going to do this just in case. I don't want that to be a safety hazard for people with small children. Those magnets can be pretty bad, pretty scary. So I went with just the simple backs. But again, so that's that. So that's actually about it. I think I don't know where my timer is about how long I've been going, but I think I'm pretty close to about an hour. And thanks, William. Yeah. So Gen Con 22 was 50K, down from 70K pre-COVID, which tells me that, and Gen Con required masks last year. And I'm guessing if all goes well, we will not be wearing masks this year. I'm guessing, which means it could be back up. So good Lord Almighty. I don't know what I'm going to do. And thank you, Christian. If you need volunteers at PAX U, hoping to go. I should let you all know, and again, a lot of you kind of chime in about this. Right now I'm reaching out to some people about being volunteers. If you are serious about the idea of potentially having interest in volunteering at the Paverson Games booth at either Origins or Gen Con, reach out to me, send me a message, send me an email, send me a Facebook message, whatever works. Because I am still looking at potentially bringing a couple people on. We cover half your hotel room. So basically you stay with someone else. You work about 6 hours a day, but have breaks beyond that as well. And it's scheduled so you know when, so you can plan games and other stuff too. You have a little food stipend. So there's things that we try and do to help support you, and obviously you get a free exhibitor badge. So we try and cover most of the, or free badge, all access kind of badge for the conference. We try and cover most of the things that would incur money for you for that weekend. Besides maybe a little extra food, depending on how much you're planning to do. And I usually try and take the whole team out to a nice dinner as well. So that's the type of stuff that if you are interested, feel free to reach out to me privately and we can talk. It is a commitment. I understand that. And so I want people that would really be wanting to take that seriously. And I hope someday to be able to say, yeah, we're going to employ people. I'm just not there yet to be able to afford that. But I can at least write stuff off as business expenses for now. I actually just reserved the hotels today at Gen Con. And the volunteers for the cons. So Bill's asking, volunteers for the cons right now are Gen Con and Origins. So Gen Con in August in Indianapolis and Origins in Columbus in late June. So again, feel free to reach out if you are at all interested. We can talk details. No promises because we might be full up for some of those. We're still kind of waiting on some other people that had already voiced interest, but you never know. I think that's about it. I see no other questions. My drink is very watery now. I should have been drinking. I want to thank everybody again for tuning in, for your support, for your questions, for your comments. I'm really hoping, people, that we're getting close. It could be as early as this week that things ship out from the warehouse down to Florida, up to Canada, up to Wisconsin, and then a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks after that when they start to get fulfilled. But to be real, it also could still be a couple weeks before that ships out. So we don't know. We're working as hard as we can. I can't do anything. My hands, I've sent the stuff and now it's in Funnigan's hands. And I hope that they can figure out a way to make this work so we can pass it on to people that are ready to receive it, like QML and Pick and Pack and me at my garage. So that's it. So with that, everybody, I want to wish you one more Slan Java, signing off for the evening. Thanks so much for all your support. I hope you have a good, wonderful rest of your February. And I think hopefully by next month, I'm going to have some good news for all y'all. Some of you might even have that game at your table and a drink in your hand. Slan Java, everybody.